Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Let's Talk About It, the space where we speak the unspeakable. And this is your favorite Mitra on air. We all have been there, confused, clueless, and tired of bottling up the things that we are not allowed to speak of. But there's a small problem there. Since we are humans, we do have a lot to talk about, and a lot more to know as well. But sadly, that doesn't happen much often, does it? Most of the time, what we do is keep things to ourselves in fear of judgment, rejection, or the worst, fear of being made fun of. And growing up in a society such as ours, we definitely have a lot of unspeakable questions. Questions that we hold within us like top secrets, questions that come naturally to us because we are humans. It could be anything, from our bodies to sexual health and relationships, and even situations that stop us from being ourselves. And by not talking or receiving any sort of answer to our questions, chances are very high that we could just be another prejudiced, miserable human being. So let me tell you a story that matters a lot to me. Like there was this one time in school that I still remember. I was in 5th standard back then, and I had this best friend of mine who was the first to hit puberty among us. She was a short 10-year-old girl, regular in school, and you could always see her with a smiling face. I remember her as a very happy child. So when she skipped school for a few days, everybody knew she was on periods. I don't know the who or how, but by the time she came back to class, everything was changed. And we did exactly what school kids do. We treated her differently. Every time she was around us, we gossiped about her so-called condition. We isolated her, and we were even reluctant to sit near her, talk to her, or even play with her. Yeah, I know we were kids back then, but then too, I couldn't actually figure out why I behaved the way I did, or the reason why I felt disgusted around her. I know it's a strong word to use, but it's true. I couldn't help it. And it was not just me. We all felt the same. Things remained the same, and one day she came up to us. She was in her usual cheerful self and asked if she could sit with me. My answer was an outright no. Of course, I didn't want to, nor did any of us. But that day, she wanted to know the reason, and I could tell she was pretty much adamant. And when I finally gave in and told her the reason why, I told her, "You will stain my clothes too." Those were exactly my words, and she started crying. Obviously, our friendship ended that day, and ever since I did try fixing things, but it never really worked. This is what usually happens when questions are unanswered or you are misguided. And the result? Either you get traumatized or you become the reason for it. Now when I think about it, I understand we both weren't at fault. She didn't deserve any of it, nor did I deserve the guilt I carried for a very long time. And I'm sure we all have millions of similar stories out there. Weren't those the times we hoped we had someone to talk to, or a friend who could understand us? I'm sure she would have felt the same, and so did I. And sadly, we had none. Well, this is exactly why your Mitra is here. Yes, I'm here to speak the unspeakable. And we sure are going to have a lot of fun in the coming episodes because we will talk about everything you have ever wanted to. From sex, periods, relationships, mental health, and everything in between. You will have a piece of a gyan from your Mitra. And it's not going to be just me. You can also mail me your questions that matter to you, and I'll make sure they get answered too. Yes, anything for you, my dear friend. So tune in and keep listening because you never know what you'll find.